Hey.
We ready?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Okay, yeah, then I'll put the bit of power down.
Okay.
I'll let it right over here.
Want to put it on the floor? Yeah, yeah, so it just won't flip off on you.
So that it
Won't.
won't way.
Yeah, okay.
And
good.
here we go.
All right.
Have a little of this rattlesnake pea here.
Not. It's a lime lemon juice. Strong, isn't it? Good for what it may never ail you.
Oh, that lime juice is
Very tart, yeah.
Okay. Continuing, we're on chapter 6.
Yes, please.
And that's what I'm going to read today.
Yes, sir. And what are you reading?
I'm reading from a book.
Yes, and the book's name is?
The book's name is Conspiracy.
The book's name
Isn't it
is...
interesting? Most books have names.
Yes,
Have
this
you ever
is...
noticed?
Well, you know, like people. Yeah, it's going to
Well, I know
identify.
some people who are nameless, but I don't
No. All right. Cover done by
You don't want
Zola.
to play my game, right?
Yes, no. Cover done by Zola Salena-Hawkins. The book can be purchased on Amazon. Conspiracy.
Just go in there and say, give me that.
Yeah, well.
And they ask, what? And you say that book with no name other than Conspiracy.
By Odie Hawkins.
By Odie Hawkins.
All right.
Okay.
Too much.
Sunday, June 26, 1988. Los Angeles Times headline. Cold killers and fearful innocents. Homeboys. Players of the deadly drama. It happens so many times. One of the homeboys would get back to the neighborhood all bleeding, saying, such and such, they did such and such to me. Just because I'm there, I say, I'll be back. Jump on my bicycle, boom, head back to the house, get my gun, come back out to the neighborhood, go to one of the homeboys' house, put some WD-40 oil down the gun, put the bullets in, click, turn the revolver, make sure it's cool, let's go. Get in the car, roll where we gotta go, talk about what we're gonna do, park the car, walk around 3-4 blocks to where they at, shoot them, boom, 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 run back to the car. David Stewart, a former Main Street Crip,
Okay.
describing a payback shooting by Bob Barker, Time staff writer, Jew Rock. Drug to me, it's cool. There's a lot of people who don't have no jobs. You sell drugs to people who use it. You're not responsible for what they do with it. If you don't give it to them, somebody else will. If it's up to me, I'd rather be selling dope than taking money from people with a pistol in my hand. If we're selling dope, whatever we're selling is what they want us to get our hands on. We ain't got no connection in Libya to go tell somebody we need 700 tons of this stuff. Selling drugs, it kept me from robbing. It kept me from stealing. It kept me from doing a lot of things I used to do. Colonel Milan studied the news very intensely. He felt a positive glow. Any news item with so much negative interest about gangs and drugs was for his purposes a coup. It meant no news about South Africa. Like most gang members, he's tried his hand at selling rock cocaine. He stood out in the streets, conducted transactions, then went into the house, got the dope from the head man, and brought it back to the buyer. He was not a big timer. He grossed maybe $300 a day, kept half of it. But after a year, he quit. He almost got arrested, and he was afraid of being shot. He glanced through a few more American newspapers, pleased to see large-scale spreads on drugs and gangs, or both. Excellent. He made a note to clip the most sensational stories for home. Now then, the reports. John Van Niekerk. He sprawled back in his chair and tinted his fingers under his chin. Dap Sugar Charlie sounded like a familiar name. Yes, of course. Dap Sugar was the dope peddler from the Flying Fox. Evidently, Van Niekerk had made a connection of the best with the worst. Good. Klaus Vandermeer sounds solid. No outstanding problems. He suspected from reading between the lines that Klaus was having some success in the stock market. But that was to be expected. None of them was stupid, and they had all been placed in lucrative positions. Anna Voilin's report puzzled and then disturbed him. It was a bit too humorous, filled with unaccustomed snips of insight and color. He frowned. There was something wrong. What had happened to the Teutonic maiden, the solid, humorless lady? He had laid her report aside for a second, more serious reading. And Hans Botha, the racist. He almost winced reading some of his sentences. They eat the worst kinds of food. If you drove through Harlem on a Saturday night and smelled it, the smoke would make you sick. They drink like fish. There's a liquor store on every corner to accommodate their urges. If there were no liquor stores, there's no telling what they would do. I suspect that the census is grossly overprotective of their legitimate birth rate. I suspect that it would be closer to 85% illegitimate, if they were going to be honest. Our product is the most popular on the market. It thrills, excites, and helps them to be normal, I think. Colonel Milan placed the reports off to one side of his desk to restudy at a calmer moment. He recognized the degree of Americanization in each of the reports, but he really felt disturbed by Anna Boleyn's report. He decided to give her one more report before withdrawing her from her position. He doesn't play around.
Very good.
Roger Cranberry frowned at the page he had just typed. Another ghetto crisis. He was sick of doing pieces about ghetto crisis. It was so unchallenging. He had almost developed a formula for writing pieces about ghetto crisis. You started off saying something in jungle grammar. He did most everything and went off into something Oxfordian. In most cases, the juxtaposition of grammars was enough to grab his editor's approval. The large, white, solidly constructed, one-legged ex-Vietnam vet that everyone affectionately called Master Sam. Sam, I didn't think you'd ever cop to that master part. Sam, look, why do I keep getting these ghetto crisis assignments? Why can't I have a little taste of the West Side? Roger, you want to hear the absolutely sinful truth? Yes, I do. You and the 6 other fully qualified African-American reporters on this large white daily newspaper are being given an inordinately large number of ghetto crisis assignments because I feel that you all would be the most sensitive people to deal with whatever is happening in those areas. I'd like to quote a line from a World War II movie. You don't look like the enemy. The rest of us do. Sam bent his head back over the silly article he was reading. Why in the hell would anyone object to doing stories about the ghetto? That was where the news was. Roger stared at the top of Sam's balding blonde head for a moment. Sam, Roger, you still here? Yeah, look, Roger Cranberry fanned his hand down into his pinstripe pants. Well, spit it out. What's the beef? It's this ghetto crisis stuff. I'm sick of it. I want Roger to tell you what. You complete this last piece, and we'll kick you over to the beach for a couple of stories. That suit you? Sound fine to me. Don't get me wrong, Sam. It's not that I don't dig doing stories about the ghetto, but I don't want to be ghettoized. Can you dig where I'm coming from? I can dig it, man. I can dig it. Sam answered and went back to the article. He wasn't a person to waste a lot of time, energy, or words. He looked up at Roger's back as he strode out of his office and back to his desk. God, I wish I had about 6 more of him. Roger Cranberry stumbled into the last fourth of his article, number 3 in a series of 6, frustrated by his lack of information about the name of the latest generic brand of cocaine. Some of his white colleagues had placed him in the deep right after having discussions about the current drug plague. Come on, Raj. How can you look down your nose at some poor bastard who's trying to quiet his pain? How much different is that from your 3 martini lunch? In one way, not very different at all, but in some other ways, quite different. Number one, we can afford our 3 martini lunch hours because we have nice salaries to pay for those 3 martini lunch hours. But Raj, hold on, let me finish. You talk about some poor bastard trying to chill his pain out. I can dig that, but why with a rock? Well, maybe that's the current brand of martini in the ghetto, Raj. Phil, you just might be right. But it's like those martinis we were talking about. Nobody grabbed your arm and forced you into the dirty gutter saloon, and I have yet to hear of crack dealers going from door to door giving out free samples. There's no doubt that there's some truth to what you're saying, Roger, but we're talking about a dude who's down at the shitty end of the rock, or I should say stick, and knows it. Knows that there's a 99% chance of him remaining down there forever. Alan, I started from the bottom of the shitty stick, just like the guy you're talking about, and I've come a long way, baby. If I can do it, so in the fuck can they. Yeah, I hear you, Roger, but let's face it, you're different. The discussion always dissolved on that note. You're different. Motherfucking right, I'm different. I better be if I'm going to survive and be whole. Frustrated, Mr. Cranberry? Big Miss Jenkins again, the giant sister from UCLA, the ex-high scorer from the ladies' team. Hooray, horny as a middle-aged Texas steer. No, Miss Jenkins, just mad as a motherfucker. My, such language. She perched on the side of his desk, all 5 feet 10 inches of her legs, hips, breasts, sexy eyes, and ponytails swaying provocatively. Only the tail was phony. Her sister was for real and had made it obvious and simple on at least 3 occasions. They had gravitated toward each other at the Dirty Garter happy hour. Some of his fellow reporters accused him of racism because he had chosen to spend the happy hour in a corner booth with Miss Jackie Jenkins from the ad section. Why haven't I seen you around here before? She aggressively quizzed him. Because I've been hiding from me. I don't think that would be possible. You got that right. My name is Jackie Jenkins. What's yours? Roger Cranberry of the Cranberries of Chitlin Switch, Mississippi. And I'm happily married to a hot-blooded woman from Louisiana named Crystal. Is she black? About 3 shades darker than hot chocolate. I'm glad to hear that. You are? Yeah. Because if you had told me you were married to a white girl, I would pull you out of here and whip some work on you this very hour.
Okay.
The second time they bumped into each other, the dirty garter, she had some soul work on him. Hey, what are you going to tell your friends? What friends? Those are just white folks from the job. They're not friends.
Mm-hmm.
They had driven, for some perverse reason, straight to a Figueroa Street motel, complete with waterbed, wall mirrors, and X-rated videos, stripped, and had an orgy. He had called a halt to the whole business after the second time. Jackie, we won't be able to do this again. Why not? You don't seem to be having a problem getting it up. That's not what I'm talking about. What are you talking about? I'm saying we can't get together. We can't do this again. Why? Because I make you come in my mouth? No, baby, not because of that. Believe me, it's because I'm married and being with you makes me feel guilty. Oh, please, give me a break. Please. Don't you understand? I feel guilty. Guilty. I leave you and go home to my wife and I feel guilty. Roger, look. Let me explain something to you. Maybe you won't feel so guilty. I'm a big old fine African-American sister. What some people might used to call a stallion, okay? Okay? Mm-hmm. He nodded, agreeing. Mm-hmm. Okay, now there ain't a whole lot of brothers out there who can come on to me, and damn few white men that absolutely no chinks and spicks. Mm-hmm. Now you are a beautiful brown-skinned 6 foot a hunk of a brother, and you telling me we can't do this good thing anymore because you coexist semi-peacefully with some woman during the course of the week? I don't want your soul, man. I want your nuts. She placed him on the sexual defensive and kept him there. They were 3 months beyond their last encounter. So you're frustrated, huh? About this fucking article. Sounds like you're in need of a little more intelligence than you're into right now. After all, 2 heads are better than 1, and 1 good head is better than anything. Mm-hmm. She's... Mm-hmm. She flicked her tongue out of him like a snake a few times and strutted away from his desk like a lascivious peacock. Heads, male and female, surreptitiously studied a special parade through the office aisles. Mm-hmm. He followed the wake of stunned heads before turning back to his own problem. What the fuck am I racking my brain about? Dab Sugar has the answer to all this shit. He dialed. The Flying Fox, Dab Sugar's basic nation. Would you have him call Roger Cranberry, area code 213-555-5000, extension 332, as soon as he comes in. Cranberry, who you? Just tell him, he'll know. The bartender, assuming a drug deal was about to go down, promised to report the call. Remember, please, Roger Cranberry. 2 pages and 3 cups of black coffee. Later, Dap Sugar Charlie returned his call. Dap, how's it going, man? It could be better, and sure the fuck couldn't be better. I mean, it could be bigger, but it sure the fuck couldn't be better. Ooh, I got that all wrong, didn't I? They exchanged the slipshod banter that a couple of homeboys were privileged to exchange 20 years encapsulated by a few coded sentences. Dap and Roger shared the same wine bottles, smoked the same joints, and on 2 occasions shared the same girl. Hey, blood, I didn't know you and Janola had a thing going on. Shit, I didn't know y'all had a thing going on. Well, ain't no real big thing. One thing became painfully obvious to Roger by the time they reached their junior year in high school. Dap Sugar had chosen the easy way out. Oh, fuck Roger. What goddamn difference do it make how you get your coins, just so long as you get them? The difference that it made sometimes separated them for years at a time, while Dap Sugar paid his debt to society and Roger slowly climbed the city's journalistic ladder. But they remained friends, and Dap Sugar was an invaluable, up-to-date resource for anything happening in the city's underworld. Dap, I need some information, man. I'll give you whatever I can give you, but it's sure and fucking gonna be over the telephone. Where do you want to get together? Leave your pinstripe tie off and meet me over at the stage now. What time? It's about 3:30 now. Let's make it 6, okay? See you at 6. He felt half an urge to wander through the ads department on his way out at 5:30 to flirt a little bit with Miss Jenkins, but vetoed the idea. Her sister was so serious about playing that she could take a run-on sentence and slam dunk it.
Mm-hmm.
Anna Villon stepped from the shower, her hair covered by a peppermint striped shower cap. She began drying her body off with a large fluffy towel, released her hair from the shower cap. Slowly, hesitantly, she stopped toweling her body to stare at herself in the full-length mirror. It was not something she took pleasure in or did often. She made an objective study of what she saw. A well-formed, 32-year-old white woman, an Africana, who could trace her tribal origin back to the 18th century. Well-formed. She made a slow turn, running her hands down over her breasts, her ribs, her waist, hips, buttock. I have an ass like a Kaffir. Maybe that's what he likes. She had always exercised, enjoyed the games that demanded maximum physical exertion, tried to reduce the size of her buttocks, but nothing worked. Secretly, she had come to accept and believe the rumor that the Villon males meeting the fat-assed, she couldn't remember the anthropological name, it's stupidous. Hottentot women on the dunes of the Cape had permanently damaged the genetic makeup of a family tree. There was, of course, no official evidence of intersexual behavior, but all of the women in her family displayed signs that were unmistakably related to the fat asses. Stupidity. She placed her heels together, stood at attention with her hands on her hips and stared into her deep-set gray eyes. In 32 years, 2 males had penetrated her body. Her Uncle Frank. Come, beautiful Anna, give your uncle a kiss. And her father. If you tell anybody about this, Anna, God will be very angry with you. She turned abruptly from the mirror, wrapped a beach towel around her nakedness, snatched up a brush and began to savagely give her lustrous black hair 100 strokes. She stopped after 10 strokes and turned to stare at her image again, tears in her eyes. First my uncle, then my father, and now a bloody nigger wants me. God must really hate me. Roger Cranberry studied the scene, pinstripe tie, left in the glove compartment of his Datsun 210, the stage lounge. The usual collective of slick types, a couple tables filled by well-dressed black women who had obviously decided to get together for a group session over funny drinks with miniature umbrellas hanging over the edges, a stage lounge fixture. He cataloged an odd habit, maybe a stage lounge custom. Each person entering was ignored until she settled in place, and then they were closely scrutinized. He knew from having been on the scene before that most of the regulars knew that he was tight with Dap Sugar Charlie. They kept records on things like who related to who and why. He sipped his gin and tonic, wishing it were a glass of the Beaujolais Village he and Crystal had picked up from Trader Joe's a few days before. Sweetheart, there's just one thing you just gotta tell me before say it, Roger, before we get married. Yes, Roger, I have had sex with other men, 6 to be exact, just as you have. Nah, fuck sex. I want to know why your folk named you Crystal.
Okay, deep conversations prior to marriage. Okay.
I ain't one of them.
Okay.
Oh, that was my mother's name. For some reason, While she was pregnant, she developed this craving for Brazil nuts. I'm sure she never thought I'd be hooking with somebody named Cranberry. They had settled on a nickname, Miss Baby. The bartender caught him smiling into his drink. We got another one just like that. Good, let me have it. He drained his glass and prepared to deal with the next one. 6:15. Oh well, he knew better than to expect Dap Sugar to be on time. Anna, glad you could make it. Come on in. After 2 visits to his home, she stood in the door feeling vaguely awkward. The first dinner, her delivery of the baguette watches flashed through her mind. Cornish rock hens and wild rice, braised leeks and excellent white wine. He had been charming, humorous, and warm. She had left feeling slightly confused, a feeling she attributed to the after-dinner cognac and espresso. She felt no urge to return but couldn't turn down an invitation for a small gathering, people who've shown some interest in my watches. I think your business will benefit, and besides, they're all pretty nice folks. Jimmy Morgan had been the only black at the small gathering. 3 couples, well-traveled, intensely intellectual, a playwright, the president of a prestigious small college, an architect, 2 astrophysicists. We just couldn't resist each other. A film producer. The problem of South Africa was tabled in favor of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I have to say, honestly, as a semi-Zionist and as a quasi-religious Jew, that I think the Israelis are way off the beam and have been for some time. They remind me of a couple of Olympics I used to know. The more they eat, the more they think they have to eat. Jimmy Morgan, the perfect host, had not taken any position. He just simply kept the hors d'oeuvres tray full and the wine flowing. When he pecked her gently on both cheeks at the end of the evening and asked, "Are you okay to drive? I mean, we don't want any accidents happening, do we?" She had assured him she was fine and left feeling strangely nauseated. No black man had ever been close enough to her to kiss her. Black women, nannies, had cooled and fondled her, but a black man, never. And now she was back. A 3rd visit to offer him her judgment of a few pieces of jewelry he had purchased 10 years ago, or so he said. I'm pretty certain I got taken on this deal, but I'd really like to know how badly. She followed him, walking like a shop window mannequin, into the large room he called his den. There was a fire in the fireplace, cognac on the long marble table in front of the sofa facing the fire. The exotic music drifted out from somewhere. "Where are the pieces you want me to look at?" He turned to look at it, an amused gleam in his eyes. "I have them upstairs. Can I offer you something?" She stared at the cognac bottle and into the fire for a moment. "Yes, a drink would be fine, thank you." He poured her a drink, poured himself one, handed her the snifter, and offered a toast. "Here's to our friendship." They touched glasses and sipped in unison. "Make yourself at home, I'll be right back." He placed his glass on the table. She watched him stride from the room and wandered closer to the fireplace. How many rooms were in the house? What did he do for a living? Where did he get his money? Who was the woman in his life? A black, a Kafir, a nigger. She gritted her teeth together and felt like throwing her glass into the fireplace. What the hell am I doing here? She had ugly dreams for a couple of nights after her attendance at the small gathering. No one had openly suggested she and Jimmy were together, but the implication was clear. What other reason was there for her to be there? Alone. Business, she muttered savagely and sipped her drink. She could easily imagine what her friends back in Pretoria would say about her being in a black man's house socially. Huh? Never. I love fives too. Oh. Sorry, I didn't mean to frighten you. It's all right, I was just thinking. Well, never mind. You have the jewels. You held a 9 by 11 velvet-coated tray up in front of her. Right here. What do you want to look at then? The table would be fine. She placed her glass near his and took her jewel glass from her purse. He undraped the chair, the tray, and sat down next to her on the sofa as she adjusted the glass in her right eye. He had several necklaces, a few rings, 2 pairs of pendant earrings, a bracelet. She could tell at a glance that they were excellent pieces, well cut. I need to know how much you paid for each piece before I give you my estimates. Be right back. He moved quickly to get pen and paper. All righty, now then, let's see. The necklaces, 30,000. The rings, 10,000. The earrings, 8,000. And the bracelet was 15. That comes to 63,000. And these were purchased from a reputable merchant. Once again, the amused gleam appeared in his eyes. Leeuwenhoek's, Amsterdam. A reputable deal indeed. She began to study the jewelry. Jimmy Morgan leaned back on the sofa and studied her. Dap Sugar Charlie glided through the door, a couple of recent toots of high-grade coke zinging through his frontal lobes, coke macho evident in every motion. He didn't do it often, but when he did, he used the effect to the maximum. The stage lounge, 3/4 filled with the late afternoon set, stared at him as though he were a celebrity. In a sense, he was. Brother Cram, what it is. Roger had already fortified himself against Dap's boisterous onslaught. He knew he was going to have to endure a first stage level session of loud talk, outrageous behavior, and too much camaraderie before they settled down to second stage level talk. How you doing, Dap? You looking good? Hey! When you looking good, you feeling good. Ain't that right, y'all? He addressed his questions to the stage lounge at large and received a half-throated chorus of affirmation. Hey! He boomed again. I said, when you looking good, you feeling good. Ain't that right, y'all? The 2 tables filled with the sisters who were drinking umbrellas chorused back. Yeah, you got that right. Well, all right. Waitress, he bellowed, get them beautiful ladies over there whatever they want. Roger laughed out loud. Dap had done it again. No one could jack the atmosphere of a place up higher than he could, or as fast. He mounted the stool beside Roger, enjoying the hyped-up ambiance he had brought into the place. The bartender leaned across to him, anxious to serve. Let me have a Perio and one of them fancy sniffers and stick a fresh slice of lime off into it. Dap, you okay, man? Perrier and lime? He was slowly coming down to stage 2. Never felt better in my life, swear for God. That's because I'm taking better care of myself than I used to. Hey, what's happening, dog balls? He spun on a stool to greet a fellow thug and turned back to his monologue without a pause. I got hip to myself doing that last bit I had to do, you know, behind that dumbass real estate scam me and patch ass tried to pull off. I said to myself, now wait a minute, Dap Sugar. You damn near 40 years old. You done drank all the ignorant oil you ever gonna need. You done smoked piles of dope. You done dropped all known varieties of pills and shit. You done even shot a little heroin, quiet as it's kept. Really? I didn't know you had gone that route. Oh, man. About 6 months. I get a little taste and get high, but I soon eased away from that. I couldn't afford to be strung out. Anyway, I just decided to see what the other side looked like. The bartender made a ritual of depositing a round napkin and his cognac glass of Perrier on the bar. Dap laid a $100 bill on the bar. This is for everything. So you mean you don't do anything nowadays? Dap Sugar smiled at his own boy and draped his arm around his shoulders affectionately. Now hold on, Grant. Let's not get too serious. Shit, too much of anything is bad for you, even too much good health. You know, I toot a couple of lines every now and then. That's what I want to talk to you about, Dap. That's what I want to talk to you about. Dap, off on his personal litany, ignored Roger Cranberry's would-be interruption. I'm not above smoking some excellent herb, but it's got to be damn good. I'll suck up a little Tanqueray from time to time, and I sure in the hell ain't gave up good pussy. What's good pussy? What's good pussy, Dap? That's pussy what's got clouds and sucking cups all up in it. They reached the lower level of stage 2 and he was on his favorite subject. Man, I pulled a young sister, one of the waitresses I had paid for the night, who was supernaturally fine. Speaking of fine, how's your wife, man? Now, that's what I call fine. Crystal. You're doing great. I called and told her I was getting together with you. And she told me to invite you over for dinner anytime. Roger felt Dap Sugar stiffen and watched his eyes go from warm and gleaming, talking about women, to hard and brilliant. Excuse me, Corinne. Be right back. He watched him slip through the clots of people and place his catcher's mid-sized right hand on the back of a man's neck. He whispered a few words into the man's ear and pushed him towards the exit. Dap, I don't want to get into your business, but what was that all about? The usual, money. That motherfucker been on me $8,500 for the last 2 weeks. I told him two more days to come up with it, or else face the consequences. $8,500? Yeah. Got the nerve to be hanging out on my set. He's lucky. If you hadn't been here, I'd have kicked him in the ass. How y'all doing, ladies? He suddenly turned and shot over his shoulder to see the bubbling tables at his rear. We doing fine, baby. Why don't y'all come on over here? He made a casual wave, neither accepting or rejecting, and turned back to Roger. Her name is She-Belle, man. One of them dark-skinned Creole women, you know, the ones that look East Indian and shit. Got them slow-burning eyes, them high cheekbones. Gorgeous turd cut on her. Roger felt pure admiration for Dap Sugar's proven ability to deal with so many diverse elements at one time. A man would have made a brilliant lawyer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, brother, I got to be really careful about this one. She don't smoke, don't drink, ain't never been married, and ain't got no babies. And when I get my report from Dr. Cuba, you told me she was practically a virgin. Can you imagine that? A 24-year-old semi-virgin? That is kind of hard to swallow. I ain't having too much trouble. They shared a laugh, enjoying each other's company. Now then, what's this shit about this coke thing you want to talk about? Coke thing? A few minutes ago, you tried to interrupt my flow when I was talking about tooting every now and then. Oh, yeah. Well, what I want to know is, you eat lunch yet, man? You eat? I had lunch. Oh, shit, that was this morning. Come on, follow me over this little Thai place I know. Them motherfuckers be doing it with some noodles and sauce. We can talk better over some hot peppers. Roger almost stumbled through the floor, climbing off the bar stool. Damn, my foot went to sleep on me. Bullshit, that gin went to your foot. That's what happened. Shit, you can't fool me. I know what a sucker did. He turned and laid another $100 bill on the bar, adjusted to the two tables apart and insisted. Get him drunk, man. Get him drunk. Don't let man one up out of here sober. The bartender nodded solemnly, dutifully. You going, sweet thing? One of the sisters called out, slurring. I'm going right now, baby, but Dap Sugar Charlie will return. And that was chapter 6. Now, I have asked that this brother, well, I'm calling him brother, he's a white boy, but that's all right. I asked him, to see if you could come and, give me an instant review, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But he couldn't be here, and looks like I'm going to have to settle for his older brother.
All right.
That's what he told me. You know, got to settle for the oldest brother. Uh-oh. I think we got a mix-up happening here because I can't find his picture anywhere.
Let me see if I can zoom it. Check the zoom for you.
Hey, man, come on in wherever you are. We're waiting for you.
All right. Let's see.
You know? You see it?
Yeah.
Hey, there he is. There he is.
Set him up.
Yeah, I thought you deserted or something. Lord have mercy. Where is he?
Yeah, he's right there. Okay.
All right. Let's see.
Hello,
Oh, okay.
Mr. Under the Ground Master. My name is Herman Steele. I am Jack Steele's older brother. Jack cannot be with you at this time to offer a synopsis and or critique of Chapter 6 of your book, Conspiracy. Jack went down on his motorcycle yesterday and suffered a fractured leg and a concussion. Nothing serious. I told him that I would substitute for him. He didn't want me to do it, but I'm doing it anyway, because that is what I want to do. Now then, before I zero in on your Chapter 6 specifically, I would like to say a few words about conspiracy. I actually read the book last year and I found it to be full of distortions, negative images, and misinformation. Let me explain what I mean, so that you will clearly understand what I'm saying, Mr. Under the Ground Master. The book distorts the role that the South African government, the government you call the apartheid regime, the South African government, at that time, was making every effort to save the country from destruction by the natives, people with little appreciation for Western civilization and the rule of law. You want to make heroic figures out of the lawbreakers, people like Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, Dennis Brutus, Desmond TuTu, all criminals.
That's his brother. That's Jack's
brother. You cannot
brother.
offer me any example on this planet of a nation that would not do everything necessary to prevent a takeover by anarchists, thugs, people without morals. In your conspiracy, Colonel Hendrik Malin of the South African Secret Police is portrayed as some kind of devil.
Yes.
He was a patriot, not a devil.
I like it.
Why shouldn't he defend his country, his way of life? Now then, concerning apartheid itself. Let's be clear about this. Apartheid was designed to give the natives their own Bantustans, their own little governments. Of course, if they expected to live and work in the white areas, they would have to conform to white rules, white controls. That seems reasonable.
Really?
You want to portray apartheid as an evil system. Clearly, it was beneficial, socially and financially for the natives. If it was so bad, then why did Africans from the neighboring countries, Zambia, Mozambique, etc., flock to Johannesburg, to work in the mines? To see a more prosperous life?
Oh, really?
I think you are being hypocritical when you deliberately spew out disinformation about what was happening in South Africa at that time, and neglecting to recall how African Americans were suffering under democracy at that same time period. Concerning Chapter 6, I feel that you've written it as well as it could be written. The characters are clearly defined, the purpose is well established. The biggest problem I found is that the foundation for the chapter is a big, bold lie.
What?
But I have to remind myself, it is fiction, isn't it? I must take care of some urgent business now, Mr. Under the Ground Master, so goodbye until the next reading.
Whoa.
Hey, we may not have you back again.
Whoa.
No, wait.
Whoa.
This is Jack's older brother.
Well, you know, families have differences of opinion.
Damn, I mean...
Democrats, Republicans, Independents, all in one family.
That's the crazy old uncle at
right.
the Thanksgiving table. Right?
Yeah, whoa.
I had no... Well,
He's so different than his brother.
Let me say this.
But,
I think that... I think he might...
His point of view.
He has a point of view, and I'm going to be democratic about this.
Uh-huh.
And allow him another shot to his point of view. As a matter of fact, but meanwhile, I'm going to speak to the brother.
Yeah, you got to speak to Jack.
He got a fractured skull and a broken leg or something, but not
It's
serious.
not serious concussion.
Poor guy.
Well, you know, people have concussions going playing football and they play again, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I hadn't expected that. But,
no, not at all. He
You
didn't
know.
really go into the chapter. He just went in more into his own opinion.
That's what he did.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
like
he gave it a few little nice points. You know, you wrote it as well as you could. That's what he said.
Yeah, and it is fiction, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Ooh. All right. Well,
I like his bump.
chutzpah.
His what is it? Chutzpah.
Chutzpah. Yeah, chutzpah.
If we're in the same room, we might have to take our spears out
No.
and start slashing each other.
You know, slingshots at least.
It makes me think of the Watts Writers Workshop in the old days.
Serious
When
workshop.
the dude said, you know, I don't like your poem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know your mama, but I don't like her either. And you know, what you gonna do about it? That's another story altogether.
Yes,
So,
indeed. Right.
we leave this at this point. I'm not gonna yang about it at this point.
No.
But let's
no,
go on to chapter 7, and
Okay.
I am going to speak to Jack and, you know, tell him that, you know,
His brother's
brother
really
is
different.
entitled to his, it's a democratic society. We can disagree, but not be disagreeable.
We can agree to disagree.
So,
yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
All
I'll
right.
leave it at that.
Interesting.
But I
point of view.
guarantee you, I'll have him around for a while. You know, it's very, oh man, isn't it, I'm washing this through my brain. It's so interesting to have people who are honestly racist these days.
Mm.
You know, because everybody wants to hide it. They just simply say,
Mhm.
it's a matter of freedom of
Expression. Blah, blah.
expression and da-da-da. And what it means is just you're a racist snake dog motherfucker. That's what it means.
Let's not get violent about it. You got your point of view, I got mine.
Well, I'm writing mine, so
Hello. One of you writes.
no matter what you say, it's still in the book. So,
Hello.
but
Whew, well,
hey,
that's conspiracy.
conspiracy,
Can be purchased on Amazon.
adult reading material and commentary. I may as well say that again.
Exactly. Okay.
Beat
And
you to it, then.
yes, you did. Okay. And you are on the author's page.
Alfred, did you hear what you said?
on
Okay.
Amazon.
James, do I hear a witness? I'm talking to my Tai Chi family.
Andre.
The Tai Chi Mafia. Master Tom, Daniel, Veronica, Melody,
No, you're still young.
Mr. Okay.
Oh, the other Melody. Okay. All right. Well, with that, thank you immensely. I just zoom in here on your conspiracy. Okay.
Can you
And
see what color my eyes are?
you got it, kid. You got it.
That should tell you there's a conspiracy right there.
Zooming in, zooming out.
Zoom in, zoom out.
All right, then. And look forward to the next reading. It's
Tomorrow.
quite
Tomorrow.
getting...
Hey, we got to get back at this.
I'm serious.
We got to get back.
Serious, definitely. Thank you again.
Herman
Herman Steele.
Herman Steele.
Oh, I wonder if he's related to any other Steels.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Thank you. Peace. Namaste.
Peace and happiness.
Peace and happy.
Push it.
Separating
Push it
heaven
down.
and earth. Okay. Ciao. Odie.
Ciao, baby.